Hello, today is the 22nd of March. I am late recording because it is finals. And quite frankly, I should be working on stuff for finals right now. Um, but I thought I would stop and record and at least get it up so that it's one less thing to think about. I am doing pretty well with electrolysis. I don't know if you can see on my arm here where, like, this is all smooth, and then right here it's more hairy on my arm here, but like it's all the way around now. This new electrolysis place is amazing. She said that I will know it's time to start scheduling a surgery when it takes less than an hour for her to clear out all the regrowth, and that will mean it's getting real close. It's less than 2 months from being cleared out. It is taking her slightly over an hour, so I'm amazed at the progress, like ridiculous progress. Expensive, but man, she's so good at her job. We are officially to every 2 weeks instead of every week for the regrowth, and that's also apparently a really good thing, and also helps my wallet because I don't have to pay for as much appointments. But yeah, it's taking 2 weeks to get enough regrowth for her to pull, and well, electrocute. So this is like exciting because it's really starting to show progress that's like tangible and measurable, and yay. um my presentation went really well at the conference where I was presenting about intersex issues, and you know I presented about epistemic agency and how misinformation subverts that, and it gets perpetuated in ways that cause us to lose our ability to grieve for certain kinds of people who are not part of our group. And intersex people, unfortunately, are pretty ungrievable to almost everyone. And I showed evidence for that and made an argument and blah, blah, blah. It went really, really well. People reacted very positively to it. They seemed genuinely moved. My goal with the presentation was kind of to leave people a little like, my goal was to make them uncomfortable, was to leave them a little bit like, oh god, why am I not crying, like, you know so it worked out really well. I cannot People are still talking about it, which is like exciting. um I'm going to write another paper on intersex issues to present at the next conference that I'm supposed to present at, because I feel like it's important. And my mentor said that my arguments were so sound for epistemic agency, which is like belief formation. And if I could make empirical, um, if I could make an empirical paper and have sound arguments, and also make another paper that was more philosophical, but from like a value holding standpoint instead of belief formation standpoint, and have sound arguments, that I could start to have enough to perhaps present to like do something legislative, which is like huge. I was not expecting that. So that, to me, that's a tremendous thing, because she's already like presented bills in front of the Senate and things like that. I mean, it wasn't about intersex issues. She was presenting about, education and student learning and stuff, but still, like, it's a huge thing. So I'm excited about that. Um, my Medicaid is working because a judge basically said that for states where it was required by law to give gender affirming care, that they couldn't deny that. So only states where it's required by law, but that happens to be a state I'm in. And so they covered 3 months of my hormones, and I was so relieved, so completely relieved. I was really like, what am I going to do? And I was out, I was ready for the refill, and I was like, what am I going to do? Like, how do I refill this? Like, what can I make happen here? And so that's a really, really big thing. I can go to get therapy again, and I'm it's I'm very, very hopeful that it's going to be okay for me to get surgery when that comes around, and hopefully it will still happen. All of these attacks on transgender, non binary, and intersex care are just so painfully horrible for me and for everyone I know who's being affected by them. And I don't think people think about that. I just don't think they think about it at all. Like how painful it is. Like how there's not just like, oh, my feelings are hurt, but like I could it will be a very slow, painful death, but I could die if I don't have hormones. I don't produce enough naturally to survive. And if it was a quote unquote no denial of his maleness from birth guy, like he could get hormone replacement therapy because he doesn't naturally produce enough hormones. And it's just like, that's how he exists. But because I was born intersex, it's like a big, giant freaking problem. And I don't want to go back to my bones being like losing their density and having nosebleeds all the time. I don't want to go back to my anemia being absolutely horrible and, my teeth being brittle in my mouth and pH balance wrong. And like, there's just so many things. Like, I just don't want to go back to it. I don't want to go back to my fingernail splintering and I just, so, I need hormones so that I can be healthy, or at least healthier. And it's not my fault I was born the way I was born. I didn't choose that. Like, being intersex is not a disease. It's not even a gender identity. It's just something that happens. And this current administration is really, really trying to rip my life apart. In college, I lost all my funding. I lost every single scholarship program. Like, they all had to change their criterias. I almost lost one of my jobs because they're a grant. And it's like, and they're doing research that is very important. And I want to do research. So this job is very important to me. And it's like, I'm not sure how to pay for the rest of my degree. I am trying to figure it out. Thankfully, there's a foundation where the director of it likes me a lot, and she's petitioning the foundation to see if they will help me, which I think is super sweet of her. I am applying to more scholarships that hopefully haven't changed their criteria too much and still are able to help people. So many not great things are happening. And I'm a student, and a lot of it has to do with education. And so it affects me. And then so many bad things are happening to transgender, non binary, and intersex people. And I happen to be intersex. And I happen to be trans because I was forced into transitioning because of what was done to me when I was little, because I was born intersex. And so it is affecting me very adversely. And there's just so much. And if another country said, hey, we're going to take refugees from the US who are transgender, intersex, or non binary, I don't know that I would not accept that. And my family is here, and my school is here, my friends are here, and I still might take it because it's a lot. But I'm doing the best I can, and I'm trying very hard to still help people and show up and do all the right things to the best of my ability. But yeah, it sucks. That's where things are at the moment. I don't know where they're going to be at in the future. I feel like this is a little more hopeful and positive somehow, despite the current administration, because electrolysis is at least going somewhere. And they covered my finally covered my hormones, and I was very very scared about that. So yeah, um, I have been going a lot to the queer trans cooperative meetings, and that's been helping some. And I've been going to therapy and stuff, but it's just been a lot. It really has been. Hopefully, everybody's taking care of themselves and doing things to help themselves because we all got to get through it somehow, and hopefully we can all get through it together. But yeah, I was very 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 depressed up until like 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago. I'm still pretty depressed, but I'm so much less depressed than that that it's noticeable. But again, finally my hormones got covered, and that really helped a lot because at least I have another 3 months. Don't know what's gonna happen after that, but at least I have 3 months.